from Television City in Hollywood.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made.
Those were the days. And you do when you ride
Girls and noblemen. Mr. B could use a man like Fiber to rock If need no welfare state.
Everybody pulled his weight.
Yeah, all the sound and great. Knows
Hey.
Hey.
We're going to talk to you a little bit about a couple of things that have been troubling the American people lately.
As you know, we live in a cabin that we built.
We built it with these.
Well, of course, these. We built it with those. It's cold up here all year long, so we had to wear coats.
Even in the summer, it's
What, 20 degrees?
It's full of snow.
Full of snow. We built it primarily out of aspen trees and wood trees. Wood trees for the wood part, the aspen trees for the aspen part, which you can see behind us up there.
This is
white.
The white. Yeah, the white part is the aspen, and a lot of the wooden parts you can't see. Some of the floor is wooden, and also some of the spoons are also wood spoons as well.
We did carve the spoons. I mean, I don't. Where else do you go? Where else do you? How do you get spoons if you don't carve them up here? You know, and we're what, a few miles from a grocery store,
at least.
So we really have to buck up and do this stuff on our own. So that's what we do. And today we have a lot of questions from fans about building cabins. So.
Let's just.
Should we get started?
Let's just dive right into
Let's dive right into
Phelps.
It. Okay. So the first question comes from Tom Saltz from Horsewood, Colorado. Tom Saltz asks, "How are roofs built?"
Well, Tom, let me tell you how we built this roof. In order to build a roof, you first gotta get a skyhook because it's not gonna stay up there all on its own, Tom. So you gotta get a skyhook, and then you gotta attach about 16 to 17 pieces of wood to it, and just lay them on out there however you want. The big ones can be on the top or the bottom. They'll sort themselves out, so don't worry.
That's right. Roofs are really important. Here's my philosophy on roofs. You build a roof first. You do it first. Why? Because if you don't have a roof, you might get rain in the house.
If it starts raining while you're building the house and you haven't built a roof first and you're just going to have a swimming pool, you're going to have a wooden swimming pool, and none of the kids are going to come over to play because it's going to be made of wood and they're going to get splinters.
Yeah, and so you really, really, really got to make the roof right away. That's the first thing you got to do is put that wood from the wood trees. Use the aspens for the walls, but you use the wood trees for the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Put that up on the skyhook, and really, that's all you got to do. Put them up there.
Once you get them up there, you'll see pretty quickly how it's going to be a roof, and you just go from there. You just use your own imagination from there.
Yeah, I mean, you could put stuff in between the boards, or you could paint the roof, but you can't paint it black.
In Ireland, they used to use mud out of the bogs, and they would put it in between the roof, the wood from the wood trees on the roof. They would put it in between, so that if small animals tried to come and they tried to get in there, they would get distracted by the stuff from the bogs.
Yes. Now you are going to get animals coming in through the roof.
You're
That's
gonna
the
you're
favorite
gonna get
spot.
some animals.
So you just got to expect that. It's not a house; it's a cabin. You're going to have animals.
That's like if somebody went to a gas station and they said, "Why don't you have freeze pops at this gas station?" Well, it's not a grocery store. It's
Right.
a gas station. They might have
Right.
some gyms. They
Might
might
have
have
gyms.
some York peppermint patties,
Yes.
but it's not a grocery store.
That's totally right. Yeah. So I just So lesson is build a roof first, put it on a sky hook, and you're good to go.
And that's what they're made of.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for your question. That was really, I think that'll help a lot of people out who make a lot of really fatal errors.
Yes. So the next question here comes from Corbs Jones. I like that name, by the way. It's a good name, Corbs.
That's what I named my son.
Corbs is the name of his son. Corbs Jones is from Good Horse, Colorado.
Corpse.
Corbs asks, why is wood so tough? Well, wood's tough because so you can't break through it that easily. So you want to, what else are you going to build a house out of? Cement?
If wood weren't as tough as it is, then it wouldn't be called wood. It would be called paper. And
That's right.
as we all know, you can go right through that. You see football teams all the time running right through paper, but you don't see them running through wood.
Right. You don't see them holding up a log, going through the log. So wood is a very tough material. That's absolutely right, Corbs. And I really, really encourage you to go out and find the wood that has the toughness that you appreciate the most.
In order to do that, you can just bend it right over and then let it fly. And if it flies as far as you want, then it's just as tough as you need.
That's right. And it's really a preference thing. It depends on how many animals you want in the cabin. So we like to have a lot of animal friends come over. And so part of our house is really built from wood that's a little less tough so that the animals can squeeze in through the boards a little more easily.
It's not primarily for them, but it's for them. They can have that part of the house for them.
Mm-hmm.
They can come right in, and it's not we don't charge admission or anything. They can come right in and people can see them. And the biggest animal that we've had in there was a cougar, and the smallest animal that we had in there was an ant.
Yeah.
So from ant to cougar, you decide what you want alive in your petting zoo.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks, Corbs. Now, the third question comes from Harry Plankton. Harry Plankton comes from Equus Bay, California.
It's a beautiful area.
It is a really beautiful area. A lot of horses.
I've been there five or six times.
5 or 6? Really?
Yeah.
When did you go? When was the first time you went?
August.
Okay. Harry asks, do you glue the wood together or nail it? Would you like to?
Yeah, well, it really depends on what kind of house you want to make. When I was really little, my father taught me how to make a house that when you can put a rubber band on it, and then you can twist it up and you can let it go, and it'll fly all over your backyard. So if you're trying to make that kind of house, then you don't want to glue it together because the glue is just too heavy. Because one time in physics class, I made a house out of glue, and it didn't work very well at all because the glue was too heavy, and everybody else knew that you shouldn't glue it together, but we didn't know that. Me and my partner, we didn't know that, and our house was too heavy and didn't win the competition. So it really depends on what sort of house you're trying to make. Those are two sorts of houses that I know how to make from my past that I didn't make right when I learned how to make one of them right, and then by trial and error I learned that you don't make the other house the way that I thought that you made the other house. But in neither case do you use glue, but I'm sure there are some cases in which you use, is that right? You use glue?
Sure, yeah. There are some houses, some cabins that are made from glue. Look, personally, I don't think you should use glue or nails. I think really the best way to go is to build the house with such a, I like to call it a comfy comfy fit.
Mm-hmm.
That the wood just sort of sits together in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to glue or nail the wood, then you're talking about a house that's not that sturdy.
Yeah, think about at the movie theater when you see a good couple of young kids together. They're not nailed together. They're not glued together.
That's
they're
right.
they're just there.
That's right.
They're just there sitting next to each other. And if everybody gets really lucky, then some hands get held. And that's really the way that I think we think about
right.
these other sorts of houses.
Yeah, you really have to think of it in terms of kids holding hands. That's really the best analogy. And really, we had a song that we sang about this that maybe someday we'll sing for you, that we sang when we built the house, to make sure that we were every time we were getting the wood so that it sat down in the right place.
It had a real nice backbeat to it. So
it had a nice backbeat.
It helped us. We would get up and we would twist from right here.
Right.
Every time that it went, and that's how we knew that we were doing it right.
It was very syncopated, and
Mm-hmm.
it's about teamwork, and it's about being together, and that's what cabins are all about.
Journeys. Journeys was there were some lyrics about journeys in there too.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite ones. I would sometimes I'd sing them in the bath.
Yeah. So that's Harry's question. Thanks a lot, Harry.
Thanks, Harry.
We really hope you enjoy Equus Bay. I don't know if you just moved there or what, but it's a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of horses.
Yeah, a few.
So the next question comes from Rob Gannon. Rob Gannon, who I think we know Rob, right?
Yeah.
He writes in a lot.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance in the past few times to talk about any of Rob's questions, but Rob writes in a lot, so we're really glad because we're really, there, but for the grace of God go we. We could be Rob Gannon, and we like to make sure that we address everybody's questions, whether it be Michael Plankton or Rob Gannon.
We actually have a whole bag of mail from Rob Gannon.
It's got a drawstring at the top, and it says mail on it. It's
that's how we know it's the mail.
Yeah, it's different. We also have sacks that have rubies in them, but it's not one of those because those don't look anything like the other sacks, so we know which ones are which.
Yeah, and that's where we keep all of Rob's mail. So thanks a lot, Rob. We're gonna answer your question now. Rob comes from